What's going on, YouTube? It's your girl Monique Nicole, and I am back with another video. Before we get started, honey, if you are new to my channel, please drop down and click that subscribe button. You better click it, okay? And while you're down there, please thumbs up this video. Thumbs it up, please. Support your girl, okay? Support, hunty. I need the support. Thank you. Now, we are about to get into some things, okay? So I know I am super duper behind on my insecure reviews. I am so freaking behind. But you know what? That's fine. We are going to catch up today, okay? Today, I'm going to do a semi-quick review on episodes 2, 3, and 4, okay? Mind you, it's late. It's late in Atlanta. I think every video, my cat is just going to make some type of appearance, and there's nothing that I can do about it. Hi, Simba, say hi to the camera. Hi. Okay, y'all, it's late as hell. I'm gonna be honest. I was not planning on doing this today, but he was like, you see, I got a full face of makeup, and I don't do this every day, hunty. So I was like, I look beat, I look cute. Let's do a video, okay? So again, I'm behind on Insecure. This is gonna be a quick recap. I'm not gonna do a scene by scene like how I usually do, but this is gonna be a somewhat quick recap of episodes 2, 3, and 4, and then later this week I will crank out review for episode 5. But right now it's going to be episode 2, 3, and 4, okay? So let's get into it. I will start off by saying that I am enjoying this season. This cat. I was a little bit concerned and worried at first about the season because I feel like episode 1, I was kind of like, Episode 2, I liked, but I still, oh my gosh, my cat is okay, you guys. He's just using the bathroom and he makes that noise, please. Anyway, episode 2 was good, but I did not start loving this season until episode 3. Oh my God, this is really happening in the middle of my video. Episode 2 was cool. Episode 3 made me start to fall in love with the season, okay? So let's get into it. Episode 2, basically, I call this the Issa and Molly episode, okay? This episode was pretty much centered around Issa and Molly. Interesting enough, episode 2 basically fast forwards 1 year later. So episode 1 is when the crew went to their college reunion, and this is when Issa decided to break up with Lawrence due to her just not being able to handle him having a baby with Condola. She couldn't continue with the relationship. So episode 2 is 1 year after that. So they fast forward in time, which I think is really cool. So basically, throughout this episode, again, it focuses on Issa and Molly. Molly basically at this point had taken a rather long break from dating. Not that long, a year. She took a long break from dating. I guess in Molly's terms, this is a long time. And she's really done a lot of self-reflecting, and she's continued therapy, which I'm really happy about, because as we know, Molly was apprehensive, whatever. I can't even talk right now, you guys. She was, kind of opposed to therapy and just started opening up to the idea of therapy in season 4. So it was really good to see that Molly continued therapy. Oh my God, my cat is psychotic. Molly continued therapy and is really self-reflecting and really growing as a person. We are seeing a lot of growth in Molly's character this season, okay? So she's kind of contemplating if she wants to get back on the dating apps or not. We see that her family is even pressuring her, asking her about, when are you gonna get back out there? When are you gonna get your feet wet again? Get back out there and start dating. I can relate to this. I took a break from dating. I took more than a year, but I took a break from dating, and I recently gotten back out there, so I can relate to it. You know what I mean? I can relate to it. You get pressure from family or friends or society to tell you that by a certain age you should be married or this, that, and the third. So we're all kind of in that age group, that age range of where we're kind of having those thoughts. And, Molly is going through that as well. You can tell that she's proud of her journey thus far and the growth that she has made. There is a very pivotal moment in the episode with Molly in which she goes on her dating app, right? And basically she sees her old profile and just like how she was like speaking and like explaining her wants and needs and really her preferences that were very trivial and very surface level needs and wants. She was kind of doing too much. She was extra. She was not realistic. It was just, she was all over the place. And it was very nice to see her reading her profile and really like having a reaction of like, gosh, I was like this. And it's so crazy because, we've been kind of fed up with Molly over the years. I have a like and dislike relationship for Molly's character. It's not to judge her. We all have our flaws, and we all have our things that we've had to overcome within our personality and our growth and things like that. So it's no shade to Molly. It's just nice to finally, after like 4 years or 4 seasons, finally have Molly really doing some hardcore self-reflecting and trying to be on the path of growth and bettering herself. So again, pivotal moment with the dating app. I think, later in the episode, she actually ends up going on a date, and she, I think she is in her head a lot. She's kind of like, okay, let me make sure I don't do this. Let me make sure I don't, she's trying to not resort to her old patterns, which is very realistic when you're on a journey of growth, so I thought that was awesome. And then the other side of the episode, we have it focused on Issa, who right now is thriving in her career. We have seen Issa go through so many struggles and just, with her career, what she wants to do and things like that. And we see that Issa's company, The Block, is finally taking off. It is getting a lot of traction. It's really growing. 10,000 followers on Instagram. That's like huge. And basically The Block, it seems like Issa's company, The Block, they basically curate and put together Black like cultural events, for local people in the community. We saw the actor Kofi, he played like an artist, right, on the show. He was doing a fashion show, whatever. So basically she's putting cultural events mainly for the Black culture. Super awesome. Like, this is literally what Issa wants to do, right? Has been wanting to do. So it's so awesome to see it really come to life. The issue with the episode in regards to Issa is Kofi, or I think his character was Crenshaw, whatever. He wants to do the fashion show one way. And basically the sponsors are telling Issa like, look, this might be too much. This might be too risque. He needs to kind of pull back a little bit. Let's keep it safe and cookie cutter. And the artist is like, no, bro, like as an artist, this is how I wanted it to be. So at first he seems like he's going to reason and compromise with Issa. But then at the last minute, he decides, hell no, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit and this is how I want it to be. So he goes against Issa's, goes against her will and does what the fuck he wants to do. Plot twist, the sponsors actually loved it. And at the end of it was like, Issa, thank you for like not listening to us and just like following your gut and doing your own thing with the client in the fashion show. However, that was not Issa's idea. She was actually trying to compromise with the sponsors. And, Issa struggled with that because, normally Issa would have gone the route that Kofi went. But she was trying to please the sponsors and didn't want to step on anyone's toes and was trying to play it safe. So she kind of struggled with her own self. You know what I mean? Did she cop out? You know what I mean? Did she punk out essentially? And I'll be honest, as we see later on in the episodes, this actually put a bad taste in Kofi. I keep calling him Kofi. Kreshan's, whatever his name is, child. It put a bad taste in his mouth, as we saw later on into the season. So essentially, that is episode 2. Oh yeah, how could I forget? At the end of episode 2, she's with Nathan, and she actually invites him to spend the night over at her house. And it's like, oh shit, okay. She and Nathan have not been intimate or like flirty, lovey-dovey in a long time. They've been friends. But we know their past history. So her inviting him over is like a super duper big deal. And he gets in the bed with her, like the whole 9. They're about to cuddle and kiss. Child, all of a sudden this girl starts crying, awkwardly crying on Nathan. Doesn't express to him what's going on, doesn't explain why she's crying. She just starts crying, and it was very awkward. And we see that he did not end up spending the night. She cried, she fell asleep, and he dipped out. Now, me as the viewer, I was confused. I actually thought that she was crying out of frustration of what happened that night, at the event, and feeling did she sell out? I thought she was crying for that. A lot of fans, and actually Issa Rae herself, said that the tears were more so on an emotional level in regards to relationship wise, and her reflecting, thinking about Lawrence, and this is, I guess, I don't want to assume this is the first guy that she's kissed since Lawrence, but it was Issa Rae, on the after show, said that it was more so in connection with relationship stuff and Lawrence and Nate. It was just, I didn't see that as a viewer. So that completely missed me. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about that. So that was basically episode 2. It was cute for what it was, but it still didn't give me what I needed. I'm gonna be very honest. However, baby, episode 3, Lawrence's episode definitely gave me what I needed, okay? It should have been titled really the Lawrence and Condola episode, honestly, because it was all about Lawrence and Condola. Basically, it picks up Lawrence is just broken up or got his heart broken by Issa. We see he goes back to his apartment where everything's packed up. He's moving to San Fran. This is, where he got his job. So his job opportunity. So he's moving. Now he really has nothing to hold him back. He is moving to San Fran for his job and career. Mind you, Condolences is still in LA, honey, pregnant. She barefoot and pregnant. So the episode opens up with Lawrence on a date, honey. It's kind of an awkward date. There's not really sparks or any real super duper chemistry. It's really surface level, and they're trying to get to know each other. Basically, Lawrence gets a text, honey, that Condolences is in labor and just gave birth to their child. The child came earlier than expected. I can't remember by how much, but whatever. The baby came early. Lawrence immediately takes a red eye and flies back to LA. As he walks into the hospital room, we see Condola. We see her mom, played by, I knew I was gonna forget as soon as I say her name or try to remember her name, longtime actress, Leela Rashad, something like that. Forgive me. And Kiki Palmer plays her sister. So we can already tell immediately there's tension, there's weirdness. We can tell that the family does not really like Lawrence that much. You can tell the sister does not F with him, that they definitely talk about him. Even Lawrence said they treat him like he's a deadbeat dad, from the beginning. So there's already some contention there. Basically what we're led to believe based on the dialogue is Lawrence was not that involved while Condola was pregnant. There was not a lot of communication. There was not a lot of check-ins. He was not going with her to doctor's appointments and visits to just make sure she was like, there was not much communication being done. And so, you know, now that the baby is here, it just, to me, it just seems more real for Lawrence. I mean, as it would for anybody. Once the baby actually arrives, of course, it's like, oh, you're here. Oh, shit. You know, so I think that Lawrence had that moment. And so, you know, he really wants to be involved in the baby's life. At some point, he comes back to LA for the baby's like appointment. I think like the first checkup from the doctor. I cannot remember if the baby got shots or not, but it's the first official checkup from the doctor. And we see, again, it's very awkward between Condola and Lawrence, very awkward. It's strictly co-parenting. There is no more romance. The romance has died and gone between them. They are strictly in a co-parenting relationship. Basically, you know, Lawrence is like, you know, I'm going to come here every weekend. And Condola's like, okay, you know, it's nice, but is that realistic? No, he does not live in LA. He lives in San Francisco. He's got a pretty demanding job. As we see throughout the episode, he struggles. You know what I mean? He does not make it there. We see that there's several times where he says he's going to come and then last minute bails on her. You know, this entire episode, I liked it so much for so many reasons. I liked that we got to see, you know, a very complex situation from both sides of the coin, right? From both point of views. We saw Condola's point of view of really being a single mother, everything kind of falling on her. Thankfully, she has the help of her sister and her mother, but everything falls on her. So the sleepless nights, the getting up in the middle of the night, the having to schedule when her sister can watch the baby, for her to go to the grocery store or go get her hair done or whatever the hell it may be. We are seeing Condola is with that baby day in, day out, the whole nine. While Lawrence is somewhere else, you know, like 3, 4, 5 hours away, however far away San Fran is, and he's a plane ride away. So he's not there. He's not there for the day-to-day things. He's not able to be with his baby all the time. He's not able to connect and grow with his child. He doesn't really get the full struggle of being a parent, the hardships that come with that. Everything is really falling on Condola. And we see throughout the episode, it's not only that he can't physically be there all the time. We see that he also is not showing up in the sense of even on an emotional standpoint, just being responsible in the sense of calling in, checking in on her, checking in on the baby, even FaceTiming the baby. Like, he's not really present physically or mentally and emotionally, right? So it's like a tug of war. I do really appreciate that they showed everything like from both sides so we could see his perspective and her perspective. There's a pivotal moment that happens when Lawrence flies back to LA for, I'm gonna forget their name, Tiffany's baby. I forget the best friend, right? But Tiffany's baby, Tiffany and Eric's baby Simone. It's the first birthday, right? Such a, usually a big deal. Of course, it's the first birthday. And whatchamacallit? I lost my train of freaking thought. Condola is there and invited. A lot of people seem to have forgotten this on social media that Condola and Tiffany know each other. We have to remember that is how Lawrence and Condola met. They met through Tiffany. Tiffany secretly, behind Issa's back, introduced them, and that's how they even got together and meet each other. So that is why Condola was invited to Tiffany and Eric's, it's a baby shower, the child's first birthday. And of course, Lawrence and Derek, I said Eric, Derek are best friends. So nonetheless, I say all that to say this. They're at the damn baby's birthday, okay? And we see a very important pivotal moment in the breakdown of communication and the breakdown of just being thoughtful on Lawrence's standpoint. Basically, Lawrence had the baby, was gonna go inside to feed him, and randomly gave him carrots without even a second thought of it. And Condola had to be like, whoa, wait a second. I was not ready to introduce solid foods to the baby. Not only that, we don't know if there's allergic reaction. Like, there was a whole bunch of things that Lawrence did not even consider, which shows a huge lack in communication between the two of them, and just kind of shows how Lawrence is a little more absent-minded when it comes to this whole baby thing. They kind of have like a tug of war of power in front of everyone. It was super, super awkward. They had a fight. Derek actually had to pull Lawrence to the side and be like, hey dude, you know, you gotta figure your shit out. You gotta like try a little more, you know, da-da-da. Lawrence is like, look, I'm fucking trying. You know, I'm not with her. That's not my woman. And I'm trying to be there. That's my cat. He's on punishment. Oh, lost my train of thought. You know, Derek pulled him to the side, was like, look, bro, like, you don't need to be fighting with her. You need to just learn how to let shit go. You need to try a little bit harder. Lawrence is like, look, I'm trying. That's not my woman, and I'm here, and I'm trying. There's other men who are not trying. I'm not saying Lawrence didn't try. I ain't saying that. He tried, but I just think I just don't think he understood like just the full gravity of what it means to even be a parent. And I'm not saying you're gonna grasp that in the first 6 months of your child's life. Of course you're not. But I just feel like Lawrence did not truly understand or even just admit that low-key, yeah, I am a part-time dad. Like, you're a freaking part-time dad. You're a part-time parent. You are not there. And I just feel like if you're not physically there, the very least you can do is check in on your child and the mother of your child, of your infant child, at least 3 days out of the week. Listen, there's 7 days in a week. I feel like 3 days minimum out of the week, Lawrence should have been checking in and calling and just FaceTiming and just being present on an emotional level, in which you then are building a trust and a proper co-parenting relationship with Condola. You know, it's just, again, I'm very realistic. There is no rule book. There's no handbook to this thing. We're all just kind of like trying our best, right? And we have to go through certain hardships and lessons to learn from them. So I just think this is something that happens. And luckily we see at the end of the episode that they come to some, I don't want to say resolution, but they come to some kind of middle ground. Okay, we see that near the end of the episode they have a huge falling out, a huge fight. Basically, Lawrence was going to take the baby overnight, locally in the area, was going to take the baby overnight. The baby's being very, very fussy, and Condola, you know, her anxiety is kind of kicking in, her paranoia is kicking in, you know, and they get into a fight, and Lawrence is like, why the hell do you do this every time? Like, let me be the dad. Like, I'm the parent. Like, and she was just like, I don't freaking trust you. Like, I don't trust you with my child. And as terrible as that sounds, because it's his child too, she's with the baby every day. She knows the baby inside and out. Like, she knows what to do, what not to do, what the baby likes, what he doesn't. You know, Lawrence doesn't know these things. So I understand it. She doesn't trust him or feel comfortable being, you know, taking, you know, having him go with the baby overnight. I get it. Do I think some of it was her own paranoia? Yes. But there was validity in what she was saying as well. They get into an argument. Lawrence is like, bitch, I will take your ass to court, honey. We can do this the legal way, baby. Okay. So it was just terrible. He dips out, and on his way back to San Fran, on his flight, he has like a scary, you know, I don't want to say life-threatening, but whatever. a scary moment. Basically, there's like really, really bad and intense turbulence on the flight. People are scared, people are crying, people are praying. There's a crying baby on the flight. It's a lot. And in that moment, he had a wake-up call, he had a aha moment, he had an epiphany, whatever you want to call it. He had it, honey, and realized, look, life is short. At the end of the day, that's my child, that's the mother of my child. We got to come to some type of middle ground and figure this out. You know, he calls Condola, is like, I'm sorry about what happened. I'm sorry about the argument. And child, this ain't working. And they end the episode that way. So that just tells me they come to some type of agreement. I predict, and we don't know this yet, I predict that Lawrence is going to eventually actually move back to LA to be closer to the baby and Condola. I don't know if they're going to get back together as a couple. I don't know if I see that happening. It could, I don't know yet, but I definitely know and feel that Lawrence moves back to LA to be closer. That is a big sacrifice, don't get me wrong. He had a pretty nice job. I'm sure they were paying him A1, top dollar. But yeah, he had to do what was best for him and his child. That's my prediction. So, let me get some water, honey. That bitch is... me. Down to episode 4. I'm proud of myself, okay? Episode 4, baby. This episode was very fun. You know, again, between episode 3 and 4, this is giving me what I need. It is starting to feel like a true season of Insecure, honey. So this episode really surfaces around Issa and Nathan. Okay, light-skinned Nathan, sexy green eyes. And we also have appearances by Molly and the wonderful, entertaining Kelly. Literally love Kelly. I could watch her all day and night. So basically, Nathan and his barbershop are having like this like community event. You know, everyone from the community, his clients, whatever. He's having like this beach community event, right? And, you know, it looks like it's stressful. You know, it's always stressful when you're planning stuff, right? Some things are going wrong, blah, blah, blah. In the midst of this, of course, a freaking earthquake happens, like Insecure. Before the drama with the earthquake, right? Things are awkward. Issa's being awkward because the last time that she saw Nathan, she damn near cried on him and he dipped out on her. So things are awkward. They're trying to have a conversation. Issa's making it awkward. She's in her head a lot. She's paranoid about it. She's overthinking it. She's telling the girls, like, I basically cried. He dipped out. The whole nine, right? Throughout the episode, she sees Nathan talking to like one of their friends, but she thinks that he's flirting with her. Like, Issa is very much so in her head and just, she's all over the place, right? On the flip side, Molly is like, you know what? I have been taking a break from dating. I've been celibate. It is time to get back out there, honey, and really get her toes wet. So she is basically, she's got her eyes set on these two guys. Both are attractive. She's just kind of seeing how the day is going and which guy she may hang out with, hook up with, whatever. She is very much so tapping into a little bit of the fun side of old Molly and just kind of like having fun, going with the flow to an extent. Just having fun, right? Kelly, on the flip side, she's having like an Iyanla moment with one of the girls at the party. It was a funny episode, okay? So basically an earthquake happens at the beach and they last minute have to go to a different location. They find like this restaurant, bar, or whatever spot close by. So the party goes there. We are introduced to two characters who are, I think, yeah, the guy was basically Nathan's cousin and his wife, and we could tell there was some awkwardness, but we could not really understand where the awkwardness was coming from. So basically it turns out that we find out later in the episode, right, that at one point, I think a few years ago, I forget how many years it was, but at one point Nathan was living with his cousin and his wife. And this is during the time of, Nathan going through his mental health issues. This is before he was actually diagnosed as bipolar. So he had, certain episodes while living. Oh, this is my cat. One second. Are you going to behave? I'm only letting you out in case you go to the bathroom. You are so bad. So during his time of living with his cousin and his cousin's wife, Nathan, had various episodes. Like, this is when he was still battling his mental health issues. This is before he was actually diagnosed as bipolar, so he wasn't all the way aware of what he was going through. So there's certain things that he would do, throughout the episode. We could tell there was some type of thing going on between the cousin and Nathan. There was love there. They were catching up, but the wife was just acting kind of weird. It was just, we did not know what it was. We had no idea. But by the end of the episode, the cousin revealed it. There was a couple of jokes, kind of jabs, but jokes about Nathan kind of just like leaving the cousin stranded somewhere, like kind of like just leaving him high and dry and deserting him. And it was kind of awkward. Everybody was laughing and making fun of him. Issa kind of came in and like saved the day and tried to be nice and throw in a nice compliment. Basically it's just about Nathan's character. But again, we knew something was happening. So like I said, by the end of the episode, we realized that, again, while staying at his cousin's, he displayed certain behavior that ultimately led to him getting kicked out. And to save the relationship and peace between the cousin and Nathan, the wife actually said, you know what, blame it on me. And basically the excuse was like the wife just didn't feel comfortable anymore, or whatever the excuse they gave, they put the blame on the wife to try to preserve the relationship, right, of the cousins. And when Nathan's cousin, I forget his name, of course, I completely forget. When the cousin told Nathan that, it was sad. I think Nathan just needed a moment to like take that in and self-reflect. And of course, his cousin still does not know that he's bipolar. So to them, he was just being irresponsible. But little do they know, Nathan was really suffering from something very serious and severe. So we see that Issa, comforts him, and they ended up kissing, and they basically decided that, they don't want to just be friends. They want to go into a relationship with each other. So it was very, very nice. Very, very nice ending. I really enjoyed the episode. I know I kind of just sped through that really fast. I just wanted to get into the meat and potatoes, really. And that's what it was. It was a fun episode. There was a lot of like jokey, funny, cute moments. But that's the grand scheme of it. I liked it. I liked it because it was fun and playful, and it was nice to see Kelly and all that stuff. It was nice to see Molly as well in the space that she's in. But, I like that they're highlighting again, Nathan's mental health condition and just the effects that does have, you know what I mean? And how it can affect relationships that you have with people. And it was a good episode. And finally, like I said, Nathan and Issa are back together, and they are officially boyfriend and girlfriend. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. That is it. That was my review for Insecure Season 5, Episodes 2, 3, and 4. Later this week, I will record for Episode 5. Thank you so much for watching. Please thumbs up this video and please subscribe. It helps support my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.